Most of you have heard, or maybe even participated in the Women's March that took place in Washington, San Diego, Miami, and even here in St. Petersburg. Women stood side by side marching for equality and rights, focusing on many hot topics such as the wage gap, policies, and the glass ceiling. One of these topics that constantly comes up is abortion. People seem excited to argue over where the lines of rights and life intersect. Yet, what both sides fail to fight for is the rights and lives of the children whom are already born. Did you know that there are over 428,000 children reported in the foster care system every single day? In 2015, more than 20,000 aged out of the system, never having found a place to call home. 62,000 children were waiting to be adopted by families that didn't show. Where is their march? The sad truth is that there's very little fighting for these children. According to the American Bar Association, the system is plagued by excessive caseloads, low salaries, and inadequate resources. People are left to ask, where is all the hope gone? Is there a chance for this system? Social work today believes that the focus should be on preventative care. Now, this does not lead straight down the path to terminated pregnancies, but rather on help and intervention to low-income families to help break the horrid cycle. The reason children enter the foster care system varies from bad to ugly. Every 10 seconds, there is a report of child abuse. 30% of abused children will go on to abuse their own. Death, incarceration, substance abuse, neglect, and abandonment are other reasons, and many of these can be prevented before the child is removed. If people fix the problem rather than fighting the aftermath and symptoms, we would have far less problems today. How often are explosive and dangerous situations left to fester when simple funding and action could have prevented the entire thing? In a perfect world, prevention and early intervention would be the fix, but we must work with the imperfect. There needs to be more fighting for this. Students are discouraged from becoming social workers, and people are discouraged from becoming foster families. The media is full of negative stories. Yet, if we support our workers and foster families more, we could flood the news with positive, uplifting stories, stories of adoption, rehabilitation, home, and family. If there was better training and better funding, families would be more prepared for the hardship this brings. Social workers would be trained to see the warning signs of negative families. The bad images might stop. If there were help groups, support groups, places for foster families to go, they wouldn't get burnt out so quickly. And as for the children who are unlucky enough to not have a safe place to call home, why are there not more programs for them, groups and counselors to help them transition from home to home, to talk through the process so many of them don't have to feel like it's all their fault? The sad truth is, some of these kids will never ever find a permanent home. Yet, if we put into place a strong, well-funded exit strategy, many of them might have a chance to succeed. 50% of foster children never graduate high school, which in turn limits them for jobs. Upon aging out of the system, 1 out of 5 will become homeless. 1 out of 4 will be incarcerated. If we make options available for these kids, not only will we be helping them, we would lower our homeless, incarcerated statistics, and therefore the number of children in foster care. Yes, many foster children will grow up, have kids of their own, who may one day enter the foster system. It is a brutal cycle. If we can break that, think of how much better society as a whole might be. So, what can we do? We do not make laws. We do not fund things. What can we change? We can raise awareness. Why is abortion so argued? Because you can't turn a corner without seeing it, or click a mouse without it showing up. You could donate to a group home, participate in Toys for Tots, become a foster parent or a child advocate, or support those who do. If we raise our voices and we call attention to the broken system that is a cycle, we can change things. And as for those skeptics who don't see the hope, the children you have seen on these slides were once a part of the foster system, and their parents before them also. Due to drugs and abuse, the children were removed and placed into my family. Some of them came with medical issues, some still dealing with the aftermath today. Yet All of them, after a long legal road, share my last name, and I am proud to call them brother and sister. It is time. It is time we marched for them. It is time we cried for them. It is time to change what is affecting so many today and stand up and call for the change, for rights, for equality, for a prospect that every child has a chance to live. I'll leave you with a quote by Kuzco Ishikuru. Perhaps there are those who are able to go about their lives unfettered by such concerns, but for those like us, our fate is to face the world as orphans, chasing the shadows of vanished parents, where there is nothing for it but to try and see our mission through to the end. As best we can, until we do so, we are permitted no calm.